What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Life After Lockup Season 5, Episode 14, Tick Talk. This episode is extremely boring for me, and so I cannot do like the way that I normally do my reviews where it's basically like scene by scene. I can't do that. I'm gonna just give a little synopsis of each couple and I'm gonna go about my business. Michael and Justine. Ever since Michael and Justine have appeared on my television screen, I have been really upset with Michael because of the fact that he does not put his children as a priority. He is so busy being controlled and manipulated by Justine, running around, chasing Justine all over the damn place, letting her make all the decisions when he has how many kids? Like 4 kids or 5 kids? I don't even know. He's got all these kids living in Rhode Island, but he made it a point to make sure that he got paroled in Pennsylvania just to be with Justine. And his children have expressed how much, especially his oldest daughter, Melody, I think her name is, they have expressed how disappointed they were that as soon as their father was released from prison, he leaves Rhode Island, the state that they live in, and he hops on over to Pennsylvania to start a new life with Justine and her kids. Now, I will have to give Michael points for bringing his oldest boy to Pennsylvania to live with him. But his oldest daughter, Melody, she didn't get that opportunity. I don't know why. I'm pretty sure there's some custody issues with the mothers. Maybe there's some court orders in place where the kids cannot leave Pennsylvania. I mean, cannot leave Rhode Island. Okay, fine. I get that. I understand that. So I feel like him being the parent and him making the mistakes that he made and the choices that he made that landed him in prison and for him to be away from his kids for 6 years, I think he should be the one to make sure that he is in close proximity with his 4 to 5 children. So, in this episode, him and Justine and all of her kids and his oldest son, they go to Rhode Island to pick up his children to take them back to Pennsylvania, I guess for him to spend some time with them because he is about to leave and move and start yet another new life in Las Vegas with Justine. So his kids don't know yet that he's about to leave to go to Las Vegas, and on their way to Rhode Island, Justine tells her children, do not tell his kids that we're about to go to Las Vegas because we're going to tell them when the time is right. So, you know, they probably have already planned the BS speech that they're going to give his children for them to be able to not be so upset that he's moving further away from them. So he goes, they arrive in Rhode Island and, you know, whatever, he's the kids and whatever. He has a conversation with his sister where he thanks his sister for helping him. He thanks his sister for being there for his children and raising his children for the past 6 years. And his sister, she's like, you know what, I would have done it. It wasn't even a thought or a debate in my head. I was going to do this anyway. You know, his sisters are, I really like Michael's sister. You know, she stepped up as a children's aunt to take care of them while her brother was in prison. And she is very, very supportive of her brother, but she also keeps it real with him. So I really do like and appreciate Michael's sister. So they take the kids to a hotel because I guess it's a long, I don't know what's going on, but they take the kids to a hotel. So they're all staying in a hotel, you know, Michael, Justine, her kids, his kids. And it was really fun for the children, like a big old sleepover. But the next morning, Justine's oldest daughter and Michael's oldest daughter, you know, they're putting on makeup and conversating and bonding, you know, as stepsisters. And Justine's daughter accidentally lets it out that they're going to be moving to Las Vegas. And obviously, Melody, Michael's oldest daughter, she was kind of devastated by this because she had no idea. And she was hurt for 2 reasons. Number one, the fact that they kept this information from her. Number 2, because she doesn't want her dad to leave again. And she even said that she felt some kind of way, you know, when her father came out of prison and, you know, they were with them for like 2 whole minutes before he went off and moved to Pennsylvania. And she was saying, you know, I felt kind of jealous that my dad was going to be around these other kids who are going to be with them every single day. And I'm not going to be able to make up the time that me and him lost because when he went to prison, she was 10. Now she's 16. So for a child, you know, 10 to 16, that's an entire lifetime. You're coming back and you're reuniting with a completely different person. This is not the 10-year-old little girl. This is a 16-year-old young woman. So she's really, devastated by that news. And, Justine's daughter, I don't know if she did this intentionally. I don't know if the producers told her to do this or if it really was a slip of the tongue when she announced that they were moving to Las Vegas. So, my thoughts and opinions on this. Michael, like every single season, you're improving yourself. You're making me like you less and less, because Michael and Justine, they're nice people. There's nothing inherently wrong with them, but they just don't know how to prioritize. Like, Michael, your kids should be your number one priority. Justine should be the one to bend and twist her life around yours with her children, not you leaving your kids behind to go make her happy for whatever reason. Okay, so Justine tells us that, we're moving to Las Vegas because for his music career, and my daughter's going to be going to the University of Las Vegas. Why can't he do his music career in Pennsylvania? I don't understand that. Why does it have to be Las Vegas for him to do his music career? He could launch his music career or reignite his music career anywhere in America. It doesn't have to be Las Vegas. It'd be even better if he was near his children. I think for whatever reason, she wanted to go to Las Vegas because she does not want to be away from her daughter. So she's going to move her whole entire family to Las Vegas so that she can be closer to her daughter, who's going to be going to school over there. And so Michael has to follow along because this man has no backbone. He has no mind of his own. He just does whatever the hell Justine tells him to do at the expense of his children. And that's all I got to say about that. Moving on to K-Rock and Britney. These two fools really, truly jumped out of a damn plane to prove their love to one another. I could not believe it. So K-Rock probably already wanted to do this. And so he's telling Britney, you're going to jump out of this plane to prove your love to me. And I'm sorry, I think it's stupid. I think it's absolutely stupid. I don't see it as being romantic at all. I don't see this as being a good idea to jump out of a plane to prove your love to somebody. I think that Britney has time and time again proven her love to K-Rock because she is just like, she is under his spell. Britney is under his, I don't know how K-Rock does not see that Britney is like totally head over heels in love with him. But anyways, whatever. So they jump out of this damn plane, and when they land, K-Rock's family is waiting for them on the ground, and they're holding up big signs that say, "Britney, will you marry me?" His mom, his two brothers, etc. So he gets down on one knee, he proposes to Britney, she says yes, and Britney says something like, "Oh, I only wish that, my grandmother was here to see this," and K-Rock says something like, "Oh, I've already gotten her blessing, so she already knows." So Britney was really happy that he decided to get her grandmother's blessing before he proposed to her. So she calls her grandmother, tells her grandmother the good news. Everybody's happy. It's wonderful. It's beautiful for now. Moving on to Louis and Melissa. Louis and Melissa. Okay, not interested. I like Louis. I really do. I would watch Louis by his damn self without Melissa. Melissa is a wet rag. Melissa is boring. Melissa is not TV material. I just don't find anything interesting at all about Melissa, and I kind of feel bad for Louis that she dug her claws into him, and now he's like he can't leave. So let me just get to the damn point. They go to the barbecue. Her family was hosting like a family barbecue, and at first Melissa did not want him. By the way, they spent the night in separate rooms in her house. So they go to the barbecue the next day. At first she wasn't gonna take him because she's not sure exactly if she wants to be back with him because he's a mama's boy. She feels like he's not motivated. She's not sure if she wants to be in a relationship with him because he's not making all this money, so soon after being released from prison. But then she changes her mind because he cooks breakfast for her, blah, blah, blah. So, she's like, well, it's hard for me to resist him when he's right in front of me. So she just changes her mind and they go to the family barbecue. So they get to the family barbecue. Her father, I don't know what her father thinks this is. I don't know if he thinks he's auditioning for Godfather Part 73. But he was sitting there at the barbecue with the baseball bat near him to intimidate Lou. I'm like, what are we doing here? And he says in the confessional, Italians don't call cops. Italians take care of business. This is not a Godfather. I don't know what you think is happening here, Papa Ron, but it's not that. So Louis comes in with Melissa. Everybody's giving him like the kind of like, not the cold shoulder necessarily, but they're like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? So Melissa says, oh, we were, we're working things out. We were on a break, but we're working things out. So the family questions him, his intentions, and like, they basically give him the third degree. Like, you're not really good enough for our Melissa. And I'm like, what is so special about Melissa that they feel like Louis isn't good enough for her? Like, what is she doing that is so grand? She works in a bar, and supposedly she works at the post office. What is she doing that is just so mind-blowing? She's not like a Supreme Court judge. She's not a neurosurgeon. She's not like, she didn't open up, 100 soup kitchens across the nation to help and feed the homeless. Like, what is she doing that is so grand and just so mind-blowing that they feel like Louis is not good enough for her? Like, that's what I really want to know. But anyway, I digress. So they're at the barbecue. The family's giving him the third degree. His mother calls, and I'm like, oh my God, of all the time for Donna to call, she has to call while they're right there in front of his family, and they already are criticizing him for being a mama's boy. So the mother calls him, and he puts her on FaceTime or on speakerphone. The family and Donna kind of have like a little exchange of words because, Donna's going to stand up for her son no matter what. She's going to be like, your daughter has to prove to my son that she's good enough for him, etc. So they kind of go back and forth, whatever, not interested. And then Melissa's dad takes Louis for like a one-on-one conversation. And, he's basically threatening Louis, nobody hurts my girls. And if you hurt Melissa, I'm going to break your kneecaps. And he's, talking to Louis with his baseball bat right next to him. What is this, Ron? Like, Papa Ron, what is this? And I felt like Louis was just trying to hold in his laughter. Like, this little old man with his brittle bones is no threat to me. I felt like Louis thought this whole entire thing was funny. So they leave the barbecue, and then she takes him, y'all, to their old high school. Now, somebody in my comments, and I'm so sorry, love, I forgot your name, but somebody in my comments had said that Melissa is just trying to relive her high school days with Louis. Like, she is so stuck in the past. She wants to like go back to being that the nerdy girl or the unpopular girl, whatever she was in high school, that finally got the popular guy. That's what she's trying to recreate. So she takes him back to their high school. They're sitting in the bleachers, and he wasn't really that impressed. He wasn't thrilled about being there, and he tells her, you know what, I don't want to live in the past. I don't want to live in the past. I want us to live in the present, and I want us to move on into the future, and I want us to take this relationship to a whole nother level. I want us to be back together. Breaks are for people in high school. They're not for grown adults. So I want to be with you. I want to have a future with you. And so she says something like, I don't know. She says something about how it's been a fantasy of hers to kiss the most popular guy in high school. So they start making out a little bit on the bleachers. Then she says something about, getting it on and popping in the dugout. So they go into the dugout, and I don't know if they actually did the damn thing in the dugout. I hope they didn't, because it looked extremely uncomfortable on that little skinny bench. So they're in the dugout. I guess they're about to get it going. And then she says in her confessional something like, oh, the only thing that would make this fantasy complete is if I was wearing his Letterman's jacket. What? Girl. Okay. I don't, you've been watching too many episodes of Grease, or too many reruns of Grease, the musical. This high school fantasy that girl, those days are gone. Those days are gone. Y'all are out. He went to prison. He's a convicted felon. Please join us in 2023. Join us in reality. I don't think I have anything much else to say about Louis and Melissa, but I'm not interested in Louis and Melissa, to tell you the truth, because the storyline of the mother being too involved with the relationship, the family not really liking him, thinking he's not good enough for their precious Melissa trying to, pretend like she's back in high school. It's not it. It ain't doing it for me at all. I do like Louis. I just don't really care for watching Melissa on my TV. Moving on to Blaine and Lindsay. This is another couple that I am absolutely 100% not interested in. I like Blaine. I just don't care for Lindsay. Lindsay is a whole lot. She's too much. I think Lindsay plays it up for the camera way too much. I'm like, Lindsay, take it down a couple of notches. Chill a bit. Be a little bit more real. She just does the most, for the camera. She thinks she's the star of Love After Lockup, Life After Lockup, and she's going to give us a show, but I'm bored. So they bought a new house. He got custody of his 8-year-old son, and her daughter, Miley Grace. She's about to move in with them. So the grandmother is driving Miley to their house, and the grandmother's telling Miley Grace, hey, you're gonna be living with your mother, but if you ever want to come back home, just let us know. Just let me know. I'm gonna come get you, girl. You don't have to stay here if it's not comfortable for you. So Miley Grace says something about how she doesn't really see Lindsay, like Lindsay hasn't been like a real mom to her because she's been in prison for so long, but she's gonna give it a try. So they get to the house, whatever, they're all happy to see her, and Lindsay and her mother are having a conversation in the kitchen because her mother's like, are you really prepared for this? To be a full-time mom, and now she's a teenager. Are you really prepared for this? And so Lindsay was like, yeah, I'm just going to do what everybody else is, what every other parent does, trial and error. And so the grandmother was really trying to like get her to understand, this is not a joke. This is not play. You're about to be a full-time parent, not a weekend parent, not only a parent when you're out of prison, a full-time 365 parent. Are you really ready for this? So Lindsay says that she is. So we find out also that Lindsay's mom is not even her actual mom. This is her step grandmother. There's like no blood relation between her and this woman, but this is a woman that raised her ever since she was like 6 months old or something, because her own mom, was MIA. So to tell you the truth, y'all, I like Blaine. For whatever reason, I just like Blaine. I don't really care for Lindsay, and I'm not really interested in their story. This constant threat that hovers above them of one of them possibly going back to prison, because I'm just not interested. I really don't care. Send them all to prison for all I care. Moving on to Quaylon and Chel. This is probably the one that I have not this one. Yeah, Quaylon and Chel. This is probably the one that I have the least interest in. I really don't care about Quaylon and Chel. Y'all, side note, what is wrong with Quaylon? What is wrong with Quaylon? In one of those confessionals, he looks like he's profusely sweating. He looks busted and disgusted, rejected and dejected, and just like he's out of it. I don't know. I know he's on something. I'm assuming it's nothing but, some Mary Jane, and that's all it is. But if it's Mary Jane, I think he needs to probably take a break. I feel like, look, I don't know what is going on with Quaylon, but in some of those confessionals, even in some of the scenes, he just looks spaced out. He just looks drugged out. I don't know how else to put it. But anyways, Quaylon and Chel, not interested. The mother's constantly fighting and bickering because they don't want their child to marry the other. I really don't care. There's nothing really happened. They're cooking spaghetti. The little girl came home. Chevel's daughter came home. Quaylon's playing daddy to her. That's it. I ain't got nothing else to say about Quaylon. But Quaylon, I don't know if you need NA, Narcotics Anonymous. I don't know if you need to slow down on the Mary Jane. I don't know what your problem is. I don't know what you're doing, Quaylon, but I'm gonna need you to please slow down, because when Quaylon first came out of prison, I thought he was kind of easy on the eyes, to tell you the truth, when he first came out of prison. But now it's like he's gone down. He's like completely gone downhill, because he just does not look the same. He looks like an old, tired, thrown away newspaper. Moving on to Chance and Taylor. Not interested in Chance and Taylor and this fake made up storyline of this I don't know, this killer. I don't know who he is. I don't know, gangster, whoever this person is that's looking for Chance. Bobo, not interested in the least. The only thing that I can say about Chance and Taylor, why does their house constantly look like it is not finished? It is not yet complete. Why does it look like they are living in some half-fixed, half-complete abode? I don't understand. You have children, you have a baby. Why does that place look like you need to have on a hard hat just to be inside of it? It looks like you can accidentally scrape yourself on a nail somewhere and get tetanus. The house looks really dangerous. But anyways, her twin sister Bobby comes over. She's got news. She is engaged to her boyfriend Scott, and we end up meeting Scott later. The next day, I I guess I don't know what they're doing out there. The next day, Scott comes over and we meet Scott. Seems like a nice enough guy, whatever. And your boy Chance wants to go somewhere with Scott. He wants to ride around with Scott. So they leave. So when they leave, this was like a perfect opportunity for Bobo to make his appearance. So Quin Bobo, he comes driving by and he makes some type of a threat. I don't know what he was doing to Taylor. So he stops his car in front of Taylor's house, and Taylor's like, who is this? And so the guy rolls down his window and he's like, I'm looking for Chance. And so, or did he say that, or did he say, where's your man? Like, where's your man? Or whatever he said. And so Taylor goes, well, he's not here. And so Bobo goes, well, just tell him TikTok. Chance took Scott to some old junkyard to look at some old 1997 limousine because he says he wants to get in the party business. Scott asks him, have you told Taylor? Because, you know, Taylor and Chance, they have this thing where they constantly are keeping secrets from each other. They're not always upfront and honest with one another, especially Chance. He's doing all these things behind Taylor's back, and then when Taylor finds out, she starts crying. So Scott asks him, have you told Taylor about your idea? Because, you know, Chance is like a constant hustler. He's always looking for the next hustle. So he's like, no, I haven't told her, and you're not going to tell her either. And Scott tells us, well, I'm going to tell my girlfriend. I'm going to tell Bobby. I mean, we're not like Chance and Taylor keeping secrets from one another. I'm going to tell okay, fine, whatever. So he wants to buy this limousine, this 1997 limousine. And I'm thinking to myself, do you understand how souped up some of these party buses are right now in 2023, Chance? Who the hell wants to ride in a 1997 limousine to go to some event when people are riding in these souped up, like, party buses that have everything in them, or they have the most modern looking limousines now with, you know, televisions and movie screens and swimming pools in them and all this other stuff, and you want to buy a 1997 limousine and think that you're going to get into the party business, or you're going to be competitive in the party business? I don't get it. So yeah, that's what he's thinking about doing. I don't know what else to say, because Chance and Taylor, it is the same story, different day. They have not evolved. They have not changed in any kind of way. The only thing interesting about Chance and Taylor is their baby. That's about it. That's about it. And somebody needs to send like, y'all need to send like an inspector or somebody to come look at that damn house and make sure that it's safe for those kids. I think I'm done. Thank you so much for joining me, y'all. This was awful. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.